So this video is all about whether you should claim a lottery prize publicly or privately. I actually am a Powerball winner and I have some very definitive thoughts on this, and I'm super excited to share them with you.
Are you listening?
So this video is all about whether to claim a prize publicly or privately if you win the lottery jackpot. My name is Timothy Schultz. I actually am a Powerball winner. In 1999, I won the Powerball. It's one of the craziest, biggest things that's ever happened to me in my life, and I'm writing a book about it. I'll put a link to that below. And I'm also interviewing other lottery winners because after winning the lottery, I went back to college to study film and journalism. I've interviewed many people, and I'm now combining my experience with my desire to meet and interview other lottery winners. So that's one of the things I'm doing on this channel in addition to these vlogs. So if you're new to it, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell icon so that you'll be notified when these interviews are posted online. But this video is all about whether to claim a prize publicly or privately if you have the option. And I believe there are pros and cons to both claiming a prize publicly or anonymously. I think there can be benefits to both and negative things as well. And so that's what we're going to cover in this video. So there are lotteries all across the world in addition to the United States. I happened to win in the United States, and in the state that I won in, I didn't have the option. I had to come out publicly. So first of all, you may be shocked to learn that in the majority of states in the United States, you do not have the option to claim a lottery jackpot prize privately. You don't have the option. You cannot remain anonymous in many, many states. And so there are a few, though, that you can claim a prize anonymously. Those include Delaware, Kansas, Maryland, North Dakota, Ohio, South Carolina, and Texas. So those are a few of the states where you can claim a prize anonymously. Your name, I believe, won't be out there. You don't have to speak with the cameras. And so for many people, that can be a huge benefit. There are also a few states that allow winners to remain anonymous if you win over, a certain amount of money. And those states include Arizona, Georgia, and Virginia. But keep in mind that most states in the United States do sell lottery tickets. This includes Powerball and Mega Millions, and even Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands sell them. So in a lot of places, you're not able to claim a prize anonymously if you win the big one. And there are many mixed thoughts on this. It's actually a political debate in many places. It's under legislation in many places, and I'm sure more states and places will allow winners to claim prizes privately. And I'm going to get to that a little bit later, my thoughts on that in this video. But I see a lot of people out there who believe that lottery winners should be able to claim a prize anonymously because tons of people come out of the woodwork if you happen to win a lottery jackpot for the average winner that does win publicly. There are awful, awful things that happen to some people, and a lot of winners are inundated with people seeking money. I mean, I was not only family and friends and family that hadn't been in my life very much until that happened, but also strangers, complete strangers, tons of strangers. I had so many people ask me for money over the years. If I helped even a fraction of a percent of all the people that asked me for money over the years that I felt sorry for, I would have gone broke a long time ago. I would have gone broke like almost instantaneously. And I'm serious about this. You become like a walking, talking ATM machine to some people, or like a very powerful magnet that attracts all these people that are seeking money. And I did a whole video about why I believe people come out of the woodwork if you happen to win a lottery jackpot. I'll put a link to that video below. But they do for many, many winners. And so that is one of the cons, one of the downsides of claiming a prize publicly, because that often has to happen. And then oftentimes winners disappear after that, and they're advised to do so, if they have many attorneys advise doing that for many reasons, including that people come out of the woodwork. And it also depends how much you win. If you win hundreds of millions of dollars, you're apt to be inundated even more so than someone that just wins a smaller amount. I mean, when I won $28 million, but I didn't walk away with anywhere close to $28 million. But, to be completely honest, I'm still was very grateful that I won, and it's changed my life in ways that I never could have imagined. I mean, it's really turned my life on its head, including many relationships that have been changed throughout my life. And it's just changed my life in so many ways. And so that's why I've decided to write a book about it. And I'll put a link to that below, because I think it's very rare. It happens to hardly anyone. I'm meeting some other people that have won the lottery, but before I started interviewing other lottery winners, I hadn't met. I mean, I spoke to a couple over the telephone just because I was curious, and I wanted to give some people some advice. And, when I won, I was 21 years old. So I remember on one occasion I called another lottery winner who was also around my same age just to give advice, because I think that's an added element of winning the lottery that many lottery winners don't face, because many lottery winners aren't so young when they win. And so I wanted to give this person some advice. But other than that, I hadn't really spoken to many lottery winners until I started doing this interview. And there are many parallels to our stories, and also differences, because everybody's different, and the amount of money that you win could be quite different, and it affects everybody differently. But there are also many parallels about how it can change your life and change relationships. It's about much more than simply what can you buy and what can you monetarily do. That's very, very interesting. But there are also stories that are way deeper than that, and those are some of the stories that I'm also digging into with some of these interviews that I find very, very fascinating. So do go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see some of those interviews. But I really find it fascinating how it's changed people's lives. And for me, it's sort of personal, because not only do I love journalism, but it affected me in such a strong way that I am genuinely very curious about how it's affecting the lives of other people. So another drawback of claiming a prize publicly for some winners is that they oftentimes do have to move because where they're living. So say you're in the middle class, or maybe lower class or lower middle class, or whatever, wherever you live, most likely you're not surrounded with other people that have however much money. And it can really drastically change, I think, if you win tons more. Like if you win hundreds of millions of dollars, but your life, you're surrounded by people that are working paycheck to paycheck, you are going to be quite the outlier. And many people are genuinely interested in that. But then there are other people who want money, and they see lottery winners as someone that they could ask for money for a few reasons. Maybe they think the lottery winner is more apt to empathize with where they're coming from, or it's because it wasn't earned and you just got lucky, and so if you got so lucky, why can't you help me out? That sort of thing. And really, many lottery winners can be inundated with pleas for money, and that doesn't happen to everybody, so I have to be completely honest with that. I've interviewed lottery winners that haven't faced very much of that, and so it doesn't happen to everybody, but that happened to me, and it happens to other people. So that is definitely a negative aspect, or at least it can be, to winning publicly. And then you hear all these other awful stories in the media. People have even been murdered. And so just these awful, awful things have happened to people. And that doesn't happen to everybody. It is a double-edged sword. And for some people, it can ruin lives. But for other people, it can do very, very positive things for them and for other people. And I think it depends on a lot of things, like how you handle the money, how the people around you treat you. There are many factors involved with whether winning the lottery can be a positive or a negative thing. And I think for most people, it's probably somewhere in between, because after the elation of winning wears off, it's not like you're just going to be jumping up and down, super excited every day for the rest of your life that you won the lottery, because eventually life gets back to normal. And, well, a new normal, I should say. For many lottery winners, it never gets back to the old normal. It's a new normal, because it can really, really change lives and relationships. Another thing that is sort of negative about having to come out publicly is, for some people anyway, is that not everybody is comfortable with cameras or with public speaking. And I know, I believe I had to come out publicly, and then my attorneys advised me to have a press conference, and I did. And I was so unbelievably nervous because I was terrified of public speaking, and it just really, I felt very uncomfortable, like a deer in headlights. But I also loved journalism, and I loved film, and I loved the entertainment industry even back then. And so I also found it very intriguing to participate in it and to speak with reporters and to see the cameras flash and answer questions. There was part of me that actually enjoyed it. And probably the act of doing the press conference is one of the things that inspired me to further pursue what I've pursued, which is broadcast news and journalism and film and that sort of thing. Like, I love interviewing people. I love it. And I love producing. I love directing. And I love cameras. I love working with camera crews. And so I love that type of thing. So probably the press conference at age 21 with all this media in the room answering all these questions, I think that was like fuel to the fire for the direction I was going in. But prior to the winning the lottery, I was still trying to put myself through college. I was working at a gas station, going to college, trying to put myself through college from paycheck to paycheck. And what I was planning to pursue was still the entertainment industry, and it was still something in it. I mean, perhaps not journalism. It could have been other things, but it still could have been journalism. It could have been film. I was interested in all of those things back then, and I was still going to pursue that type of thing. So when I won the lottery, I still went back to college to pursue that type of thing. So that didn't change. But the press conference itself, I was very, very nervous. And had I had the option to come out privately and claim the prize anonymously, there's a good chance that I may have done that because I felt uncomfortable in front of a camera or speaking to crowds at that time. But I did it, and I'm glad that I did it, and I learned a lot, and I think it was a really good experience. Now I'm much more comfortable on camera. I've been on camera many times and national television many times in the United States and other countries, and so I'm sort of used to it. So those are some of the negative consequences of having to claim a prize publicly. But what are some of the positive ones? Because I don't ever hear anybody talking about that. But for me personally, I think that if you are the type of person that loves public speaking or loves attention or cameras, you like being on camera, or you just like to entertain people, or you just want to be a leader or share your story because it's so unique and you just want to be an open book to the world. If you're that type of person, I think it can be a really positive thing to claim a prize publicly, because once you win, you become, at least if you do so publicly, most likely become a quasi-instant celebrity, even if it's very short-lived, even if it's like 15 minutes of fame. And oftentimes it's longer than 15 minutes of fame, but even if it's just 15 minutes of fame, if you're into that type of thing, you might really enjoy it. And I think also winning the lottery is a really rare thing. And so I love journalism. And so that's why I feel that it's one of the reasons I feel that it's important to share my own story, and why I'm writing this book about it is because it is so rare, and it can be at least so life-changing in so many ways that people don't think about. They just think about the money itself, or it's going to ruin this person's life, or it's going to do this, it's going to do that. I mean, there's a lot of judgment involved too with when you win the lottery, which I think is another negative thing, winning publicly. Not with everybody. There are a lot of well-wishers. I had so many people wish me well and say, congratulations, I know you're going to do great things. And so many people were very positive. But there's also judgment by some people about how you're spending your money and what you're doing with your life, because you're sort of under a microscope of sorts. And people have opinions. Another thing that I found sort of funny was that when I won, I sold the ticket to myself. I actually had a vivid dream about it and was convinced that I was going to win before I won. And I find that interesting because I've spoken with other lottery winners and seen other lottery winners in the media that have believed that they were going to win before they won. And I think I'm going to make a video about that. I did make a video about my dream, and I'll put that below. But I find it very interesting. And maybe it's just a coincidence that I had the dream and then I won, but I find it very, very fascinating. But at any rate, I sold the ticket to myself while working at a gas station. And so there was even judgment about that. There were people I saw in the media, there were people that were upset and they thought, oh, isn't that some sort of conflict of interest to sell yourself the ticket? And, in my mind, I'm thinking, how is that a conflict of interest when it's not like you can, first of all, it was a random computer generated pick. It's not like I chose the balls out of the lottery machine. It's not like I somehow bettered my odds of winning by selling it to myself instead of purchasing it from somebody else. I didn't better my odds by doing that. So but there was judgment about that in the media, just by people, not by media, but by people who commented. And so I found that interesting. But there's also a lot of judgment for some lottery winners about how people are spending their money, or some lottery winners end up losing their money. Not everybody does. I think there's a large percentage though that do, and I'm gonna make a video about that, and I'll put the link below. But that doesn't happen to everybody, and many lottery winners do hold on to it, or can hold on to it, and do wonderful, wonderful things with it. It doesn't have to be this negative experience. But for some of the people that do have some tough things happen to them, I do see judgment out there. And so I think if you win publicly, you are sort of under a microscope of sorts. And so that can be a drawback to claiming the prize publicly. But for me, I had to claim it publicly, I believe. But I also truly, truly love journalism. Well, I don't go around telling people I won the lottery unless it pertains to wanting to share my story with this book, or I've been on a few television shows actually, talking about how the lottery has changed my life, because I find it very intriguing and it's very rare, and so I get fulfillment out of sharing it. But also I love journalism and I love working with camera crews, and so that's why I do this type of thing. And I'm also genuinely interested about how it's changed the lives of other people, how that is similar to how it's changed my life or different. And so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. There are also a few states out there that will award the money into a trust, which the lottery winner can then draw from anonymously. So that's another way to remain anonymous. I believe the states for that are Colorado, Vermont, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. So in those states, you can claim it anonymously, to draw it through a trust. But I find it shocking how many other states in the United States where you have to claim it publicly. And I think the reason they want to do that is because they want to have accountability and show the integrity with the game. They want to show that it's legitimate, that somebody is actually winning, and they want to show the faces, and they want to show that it's legitimate and that people can actually win. And I think that equates to more ticket sales, because people are believing, they're seeing that, hey, people are actually winning this game. And so I can understand why they do that. I just think there should be the option in most states for people to claim it anonymously or publicly. I think that it should be up to the lottery winner. And I know not everybody believes that. It's up for debate, and it's a political issue. But if it were on the ballot tomorrow, what I would vote for is for a lottery winner to have the choice, because there can be ramifications to winning the lottery publicly that are very negative, and that doesn't happen to everybody that claims publicly. Some people really enjoy it, and some people don't have these negative things happen to them. But I know for myself, it was a long time ago that I won, but I did have people come out of the woodwork. I was flooded with pleas for people asking for money, and some from friends and some from family, their relationships with some people have been ruined. But even though most people did understand when I told them no, I couldn't help them, because if I helped everybody I wanted to, look, I wouldn't have anything left. It could go very, very quickly. Whether you have $1 million, $30 million, $50 million, hundreds of millions of dollars, look at the pro athletes, look at the celebrities, and look at, yes, the lottery winners that have lost their money. It can go very, very quickly. It's very easy to spend money. But lottery winners that claim a prize publicly, especially if it's like hundreds of millions of dollars, are inundated with people who want money. And so, I don't blame them for wanting to remain anonymous or for fleeing or for moving. I don't blame them for just disappearing, because it can be really, really crazy. But having said that, if you happen to win the lottery, then I hope that you will remember me and come be on my show, because I really want to interview you. So I love lottery winners that are willing to speak with me, even if they're not typically seeking that type of attention, just because I think it's really rare and really unique and really special to meet other lottery winners. And it's something that, at least on some level, you can relate on the experience. And so I find that very fulfilling. But for the average lottery winner, if they don't want to go out and publicize all the time that they're a lottery winner, that is completely understandable. And I do think, I wish that in the United States that all states that have the lottery at least, would allow you to claim the prize either way, because I don't think you should have to claim it publicly. I mean, if they want accountability or they want to maintain the integrity of the game, then what they should do is get some sort of a third party or somebody that's credible, someone that we can trust to check in and make sure that actual human beings that play the game are actually winning the game. I mean, I do think there should be accountability to maintain the integrity of these games, but I don't think that should have to mean just putting the lottery winner out there for the masses, because it could be really, really hard. It can be very difficult for that person. But I know what a lot of people are thinking is, if you are so lucky to win the lottery and you come across mass amounts of money by winning a jackpot, then the least you can do is come out publicly, because then you can pay to disappear, or you can pay to do this, or you can pay to do that, and you didn't work to earn the money, so just put up with it and, just do it. And so I can understand where people that believe that are coming from. I just think that this isn't the medieval times, and I think to make the game even more appealing, I think it would be better and healthier for people that play the lottery who actually win to have the option. And I think it would make the game more appealing too, but also to have some accountability. So that's what I think about it. But let me know in the comments what you think about it. Do you think lottery winners should have the right to claim a prize anonymously? Why or why not? Let me know in the comments. I love checking out your comments, and I'm genuinely interested. But if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And remember to subscribe, because I am doing interviews with other people I find fascinating, including other lottery winners, in addition to these vlogs on the subject. As I write this book, I'm doing many vlogs about how the lottery has changed my life, because it is one of the craziest, biggest things that's ever happened to me and can possibly happen to a person. So I find it very fulfilling to share my experiences with you. But I also think it's important to note that there are many other places. So there are a few states in the United States where you can claim a prize anonymously, but let's look at other countries for a second, because the lottery is played all over the world. It's not just in the United States. I mean, look at the UK, look at France, and some other places where people are claiming very large prizes in Europe, and other places anonymously. Like, they've worked it out so people still play, and if people win, they're able to claim the prize anonymously. So it is working at other places, so I don't understand why we can't do that here in the United States, but I digress. That's just my opinion. Everyone has their opinion. but I had to come out publicly. And it hasn't been like a black or white thing. It wasn't totally negative that I had to come out publicly, nor totally positive. And I learned a lot from it, but I do think that people should have the choice. But anyway, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button and let me know in the comments, do you think lottery winners should have the right to claim a prize anonymously? Why or why not? I love checking out your comments, and I'm genuinely interested in what you think about this, because it is a sort of a hot political issue, and every once in a while it's up for debate. So if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when new videos come out, including these interviews that I'm doing with other lottery winners, as well as vlogs and other videos. But thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. And if you do play the lottery, remember, don't spend more than you can afford to lose, because the odds are terrible, but somebody, somewhere, eventually always wins. Thank you so much for watching.